Hello, we are Craig and Janice, and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. If you've been watching the channel, you know we're doing our summer sailing series. If this is the first episode you've caught, you've missed a bunch of episodes, so go back and check out the Lake Ontario or Exploring Lake Ontario series where we went counterclockwise around Lake Ontario. But this summer was especially challenging because it was the summer of COVID, so most marinas weren't allowing transient boats to come in, so we would anchor out and try and go to shore in our weak dinghy. It worked in most places. It worked in the place we just finished, St. Catharines. We got to go to shore, bike around, see the sights. It was awesome. Our next stop in this episode is Niagara on the Lake, a well-known wine country area, very beautiful. Unfortunately, Niagara is near Niagara Falls, and the Niagara River has quite the current. So in this episode, we act sort of like the riverboat queen going up the Niagara River, trying to find somewhere where we can anchor and actually go to shore. Not that we didn't try pleading with the Niagara on the Lake's marina to let us have a slip, but they were not accepting any transient boats this summer, so yeah. But was either anchor and try to go to shore in a pretty stiff current, or come back next year. Anyways, we learned a lot in this experience. Hopefully you'll learn a lot watching it, so stay tuned.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.
Okay, it's another sunny, beautiful day, very steamy. Wearing the Tilly hat because I got to get out of the sun a bit. We are just leaving St. Catharines back there. It was a pretty decent stop if you need to provision or whatever. It's not a huge nightlife place, it's more like suburbia, but there's lots of restaurants and stores to reprovision. We're just about to pass the Welland Canal entrance off Lake Ontario near St. Catharines, and that one gets you to the Erie Canal. That would be it over here on the left. And because of that big access to another major Great Lake, you get lots of these massive tankers going in and out of it. So we'll have to steer clear of them as we pass the entrance. Should be very cool. We were kind of hoping one would be closer when we got by. We saw him from a distance coming out, and yeah, this is as close as we're gonna get. You don't want to be really close. You don't want to be pulling right in front of it as a big one's just plowing out at you, because those guys move at like 20 knots. But the weather has been perfect. Can't complain about the temperatures or the sun. We would love to have more wind. As you can see, we're motoring again to our next spot, which is supposed to be Niagara on the Lake. We shall see how that works out. We cannot get any of the marinas or sailing clubs to allow us to stay there because of COVID. They all just have this rule of no transient boats. And never been there, so I'm not sure if there's a big current in the Niagara River because of Niagara Falls. If that's the case, we can't really anchor in a current because we don't have a strong enough dinghy to fight a decent current to get to shore. So we shall see how it goes. Okay, as I mentioned, this is the entrance to the Welland Canal. So big, huge tankers go in and out through this. You as a personal boat can also go through. I think it would be a little tight in places where you'd be going right past them. Let's say you're going south towards Lake Erie and they're coming north into Lake Ontario. It would be a bit nail biting. So maybe one day we'll do it when we're retired, if we have time and we still have this boat and we want to explore all the Great Lakes. This would be a pretty cool experience to go through the Welland Canal past all the super tankers. We're just checking to see if there's one coming. If there was one coming, we were going to think about anchoring just over here off the entrance and watching it go by, but I do not see anything. Janice has the binoculars out. Nope, nothing within eye shot. So just down around the bend a little bit is the first lock, which lowers you or raises you. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it raises you to Lake Erie. Okay, we are entering into Niagara on the Lake entrance here, Niagara River. For those that don't know, the right shore is Canada and the left shore is the United States. So because of COVID, we can't go in the United States, or we would have to quarantine for 14 days upon returning to Canada. So yeah, we're not doing that, of course. So we gotta stay on the Canadian side of this river. It's very, relatively narrow, so it's kind of a very on your honor border. I mean, easily you could cross the river very quickly before any border control people did anything about it, but Canada and the US are pretty good allies, good friends, so they're not really worried about us crossing. It's just more like you're supposed to notify them if you're crossing. So there we go. Let's see, we're also wondering how much of a current coming into Lake Ontario from the Niagara River there is, and we'll be able to know by not changing the RPM on our engine and seeing if our speed slows down. Okay, this is supposedly beautiful wine country. We're really hoping we can get to shore. Right here on the Canadian side of the entrance is a golf course, probably called Niagara on the Lake Golf Course, I'm assuming.
guess this is the Niagara on the Lake. But yeah, swanky. Okay, there's definitely a current. There's no wind at all, and all of a sudden I notice all this like chop. Looks like all of a sudden it got really windy, but it's not. It's current against us. We were doing 5.3 knots at this RPM. We're now doing 3.8, 3.6, 3.4. So yeah, that kind of answers our question about going to shore in the dinghy.
No, like we're not.
We're not, because our dinghy, I don't know if you know this, there it is there. We just have an electric trolling motor on it. Our regular gas motor went kaput, and because this year was such a short notice start, we didn't get a chance to fix it before our vacation started. So yeah, we have this trolling motor that doesn't push us very fast. So we certainly cannot battle now we're down to 3.1 knots. We are barely moving against the current.
That means it's a 2-point-something knot current or whatever?
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 knot current. So yeah, you don't want to get in a dinghy with just a trolling motor and get washed out into Lake Ontario, unable to get back to your boat. So yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But we will motor upriver, and we will show you the sights from shore, and we'll definitely have to come back to Niagara on the Lake next year. Hopefully COVID will be over and we can get a slip at the Niagara on the Lake marina, which we will pass on the Canadian side, and then we will properly explore this area. Kind of a shame. Okay, I'm not sure if you can make that out. We're doing about 1.5 to 1.9 knots, and the boat is weaving to stay on course because of the current pushing our bow around. So yeah, this is a crazy current. Now I'm not sure if it's just here at the entrance or it's going to get worse as we get further in, but yeah, we knew there'd be a current. I don't know if I knew there'd be this big of a current. I'm going to actually have to put up the RPMs higher to kind of combat this current because we're getting pushed around. Okay, RPMs are up about a little under 26, so it's a little under 2600 RPM. We usually like to motor along at like 2300. That's the American side. Big swanky castle-like houses, and we're trying to get closer to the Canadian shore. We figure closer to shore be less current, but also swanky houses. These houses would probably be very close to backing onto the golf course. So yeah, it's nice to be one of the 1%.
That's a fort of some kind.
Is that a fort?
Yeah, it's not houses.
Oh. Yeah, the War of 1812 between Canada, which was run by the British, and the United States went on. Depending on who you talk to, Canadians think we won the war, and the US probably think they won the war. But I guess we got a lot of land that, this is why Canada owns this side of the river probably, I'm not sure. I'm just saying, it seems to be, when you look at the map, the way it's cut up, it doesn't seem logical. So I think during these battles, land was taken and given, and eventually the lines were drawn, and now we're friends. There's a beautiful house on the shore, and there's another one coming up. Every house on this part of the shore is super swanky. Janice likes to get the binoculars out.
I like to look at the houses with binoculars. Not because I'm hoping to see any naked people. I like to look at their decor and their furniture inside.
Still snooping.
Like.
Still snooping. So this is the Niagara on the Lake's marina or sailing club. Very nice. Not too far from Lake Ontario. The current has died down a little bit here. We're doing about 4 knots now, 4.2. So the current has died down. Right at the mouth of Lake Ontario, it was very, very strong, but it's gotten better. So this is where we would stay if COVID did not prevent them from taking in transient boats. We're going to continue motoring upriver. We're going to show you one more small place called Pirates Cove that's got mooring balls, and they say they have reciprocal agreements with other sailing clubs. I don't think our Portsmouth Olympic Harbor, which is more of a marina, is considered a reciprocal. We did contact them by email. We never got a response back. So we assume that means no luck. No luck using one of their mooring balls. But even if we did, it would be the same thing as anchoring. We'd still have the problem of how do we get to shore with our weak ass electric trolling motor. So, no luck. Non-stop, very impressive houses on the shore. And it must be nice to have your own like slip for your sailboat right in front of your house. Yeah, that would be nice. You likey?
Yeah.
Get the binoculars.
I got him.
She doesn't want to be caught on camera.
No, I don't mind.
I don't mind, she says.
Those windows there are too small to see in.
Oh,
There's a whole bunch of broken up windows.
what a looky-loo.
of course. Stand-up paddleboards, they're all the rave.
I'll see what kind of boat that is.
Yeah.
It's an Oceanus 461.
An Oceanus 461.
So
Wow.
it must be a new.
Super modern Oceanus.
Yeah.
Look at the bowsprit off that thing. Nice. Janice likes this house with all the glass, where she can see all the fancy furniture.
Very nice.
And this is a fort. Remember we saw there's a fort on the American side. There's also a fort on the Canadian side that was built prior to the War of 1812. You can take tours of it. I think it was like $11.90 per adult, and much less, of course, for kids. I think kids actually under 17, they say, are free because they consider it an educational experience for them. Well, that is a place you could go visit if you could get to shore. Of course, there's tons of wineries here. It's wine country, so there's lots of vineyards that you can go for wine tastings. There's Pirates Cove down there. You can see little boats on the shore. We'll go down to that, and I don't know if we'll go much further than that. Boo. Are we sad?
It sucks, but oh well.
Oh. So now we have decided we go.
Like, I'm not super bummed because this is a wine country, and you may know I'm a rum drinker. I don't get excited about wine.
It's not rum country.
I don't hate it, but I don't get a kick out of it, and it doesn't make me feel good. So
Wapusa we went to, and they had lots of ciders.
I didn't care for that either. Like,
really? Oh, I like the ciders.
all right.
So this might be cider country as well. We don't know. We won't know until we actually explore.
Year.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, we would tour some wineries for sake of the viewers next year.
Yeah. And maybe by next year, COVID will be over, and we can go check out some of the American side of the river, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, on Navionics, which is my go-to, I found a spot that was supposed to be shallow but not too shallow to anchor. And of course, from Google Satellite, you can't tell there's a cliff there. We went to where it was supposed to be shallow enough to anchor, and it was not shallow. It was 32 feet, which means we'd have to put out like 120 feet of chain, and we were almost right against the shore, so that's impossible. There's no swing radius. Plus, we had no clue that this whole shoreline is like a cliff. You can't just dinghy to shore and climb up. It's like, get your mountain climbing equipment out to get up that. So that can't happen.
Not happening.
No, so that solves it. So if you don't get into the Niagara on the Lake's marina, you're kind of pooched, other than maybe this one place down here that has mooring balls. But mooring balls would require that you have a dinghy with a pretty decent motor that you can overpower any current. There's nowhere along this river to anchor and go to shore. A lesson for us, for future knowledge, and for you, save you the time of coming and figuring that out for yourself.
Yeah. So this Pirates Cove has slips, but only for boats up to 28 feet.
28 feet.
28 feet. So that's not for us. We'd have to take a mooring ball there. Therefore, needing a good dinghy.
Yeah.
So basically,
that's true. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's not just mooring balls, but they only have slips for short boats.
So we wanted to hang out here. We needed a slip at that other marina that did not want to even talk to us.
I phoned and said, "Hi, I know you said your website says not taking transient boats, but I mean, we would like to just come and be able to film the air." She's like, "Nope," didn't even let me finish my sentence. I was like, "Oh, okay." Could we, I was going to ask her, could we just like dock for a couple of hours and just film film your marina, show the amenities? And she didn't even give me the time of day to let me finish my sentence. She said, "Sorry, not accepting anybody. Thank you, goodbye," and hung up on me. So that was the end of that. Not open to anybody coming who isn't already a member.
They do have, I don't blame them because the States is right there.
Yeah, the States is right on.
How are they going to
right over here?
Be 100% sure no one from the States is coming over?
Yeah, no, I get it. But all the boats on the American side all just tied to mooring balls. Mooring ball, mooring ball, mooring ball. Huh. Obviously they have a club over there that does similar to this club here. You'll see it closer in a second. Okay, so we're at Pirates Cove. And as you can see, most of the boats, except for some power boats, are on the docks. Every other sailboat seems to be on a mooring ball, which would work if we had a better dinghy. I mean, maybe over by the shore the current's not so bad, but I'd hate to find out it's not and we start drifting downriver and can't get back to our boat. So we're going to just pass on this. Although, again, they also didn't respond to our email asking if we could get a mooring ball here. Like I said, with COVID, a lot of clubs are just not super interested in bringing in transient boats to their club and use their facilities and all that stuff. So next year. But this is the other option. So if you can't get a slip at Niagara on the Bay, then this is your other option on the Canadian side. There are lots of similar type of opportunities on the American side. So if next year there's no COVID, that is also an option. Or if you're American, definitely check that out. So there you go.
Should I call and see if we can have a mooring ball or no?
You still need a dinghy that works. Looked it up.
It's not Smuggler's Cove. It's not Pirates Cove. We do have a Pirates Cove marina in Ottawa, so that's why I kept calling it that. But it is Smuggler's Cove, that little one we just went by.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call now.
Just going to call and just see what a mooring ball would cost if we were able to for next year.
So I called Smuggler's Cove, and they just have a general inbox saying you've reached the voicemail of
and then just a phone number. It doesn't even say a company.
No message.
I had the same experience when I went on their website. It didn't even give a price for visitor to rent a mooring ball.
Yeah.
It said they are a small private club that accepts reciprocal agreement clubs members. It didn't even say a price if you're not a reciprocal club. So, yeah, something you want to look into, but it doesn't seem like an open business per se. It seems more of a private club of people. Our new plan now is to be like the one of those river boats. We're gonna go upriver as far as we can until the current gets too crazy, and then we're gonna turn around and come back, and we'll see what we see. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
But like I say, the shore, I saw a vehicle go by up there. The shore is very, very steep. So and really nowhere to like tie your dinghy. So if you were thinking of doing what we were thinking of doing, which is just anchoring along the shoreline and dinghying to shore, yeah, good luck. Probably not an option, at least so far what we've seen. Okay, we've turned around. After we got to a certain point, it was just a current and nothing really to look at but trees. So the riverboat Queen has ended its mission going upriver. And we're going back past Smuggler's
Cove, yeah.
Cove. Yeah, so we get it right
this time. We get some fresh air now, get some breeze because we're going fast enough.
But we've lowered the RPM, as you probably can hear, and we're still sailing along or motoring along at 7.6 knots. So we got the current at our back now, which is nice. And a breeze now, because I guess the breeze is coming off Lake Ontario.
I guess.
So before it was at our back and now it's at our face. Beautiful day. Shame we can't get to shore, but it's definitely appealing, this area. It's very lush, very green.
Yeah.
So we'll come back next year.
Try again.
Try this again. We'll get a slip at the marina, or we'll definitely get our or we'll get our gas motor fixed. All right. That's it. We're going to head to Toronto. That's the next big plan now.
Yeah, since it's still very early, and we love Toronto, so we'll go back there to that area for a couple more days.
Yeah, and we'll do some time lapses, maybe get the drone out.
Yeah.
Although I don't know about Toronto because there's an island airport there. They might not allow us to drone. So we'll see. But if nothing else, we'll do a time lapse of the sunset or something just to try something new.
So there's what we learned coming to Niagara on the Lake. It is a beautiful area. We've heard nothing but great things from people that have come to this area by boat, but you definitely need a slip. And since Niagara on the Lake is about as far away from Kingston where our boat is as can possibly be and still be on Lake Ontario, we wouldn't make this big long trip unless we knew we had a slip ahead of time. When we do come though, we are going to check out those wineries because it's always fun to, try the ciders at least, even if we're not huge wine fans. And also we want to go to Niagara Falls. We've been there before by car, but it would be fun to go from our boat. We've invested in some personal electric vehicles, which is good because riding there on a folding bike there and back in the heat of the summer might be a bit much because it's not that close, but with a personal electric vehicle, it is definitely doable. So we're looking forward to coming back here next year. Of course, that is assuming that COVID is still not ruining our summer in 2021. And if COVID is not around, hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be able to also cross to the American side, which might be a whole nother area to go explore. So let's all keep our fingers crossed for that. And in the next episode, we're going to head back across Lake Ontario to Toronto. Now, if you've seen the earlier episode, we love Toronto, but we were kind of in a rush to get around Lake Ontario, so we were only there for a few days. We're going to go back, we're going to enjoy it, we're going to get some beautiful shots of the skyline in the day, of course, and in the night, to an anchorage that wasn't really officially an anchorage on Navionics, but we were using it. But there might be a reason why it's not marked as an anchorage. While we were there, our anchor got stuck on the bottom on some metal debris, and it was one hell of a lot of work to try and get the anchor unstuck by me diving down. It was a whole lot. I don't want to go through that again. We now have a pair of bolt cutters on board because after diving down about a dozen times, I was starting to think I wasn't going to get it free, and we had nothing on board to cut our anchor loose if we needed to. Yeah, a bit stressful. We'll save all that stress for the next episode where we'll have to explain how we got ourselves out of that predicament. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If so, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss the episode as soon as it comes out. And a special shout out to our patrons that support the channel. Without you, it probably wouldn't be possible. If you are somebody who would like to support the channel, go to patreon.com/cruisingoffduty. Your help would be much appreciated. And until next time, this is Craig and Janice, who's off at work somewhere, wishing you safe cruising and ciao for now.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.